today because I believe in the basic promise that in America, every child deserves a chance, a real chance to succeed. But that promise is under threat, and not just from underfunded classrooms or teacher shortages. Today I want to talk about something we don't always connect directly to education, and that's Medicaid. As a budget issue, and Representative Smucker is describing Medicaid funding as reckless spending. But we know better. For over 60,000 students in Representative Smucker's district, Medicaid isn't a line item, it's a lifeline. As a teacher, I work with students of all abilities. For example, I have some amazing, resilient, and intelligent students with autism. Most private insurance companies do not cover the specialized care, therapies, and support systems that students with autism need. They are only accessible through Medicaid. These services are essential for students' development, health, safety, and future independence. Without Medicaid, most families would not be able to afford medical care for their children with autism. Cuts to this funding would not only harm students like mine directly, but it could increase long-term costs to the system by forcing families into crisis, emergency care, or institutionalization, all of which are more expensive and less humane. Medicaid is not a luxury, and it's not waste, fraud, or abuse. The families I serve have to complete extensive paperwork to document every year their child's medical needs. They aren't given a blank check. In schools across Lancaster County, Medicaid pays for the health services that make learning possible. That includes speech therapy, occupational therapy, physical therapy, mental health supports, and school nurses. Things every student needs and some can't succeed without. Without Medicaid funding, schools will be forced to make impossible choices, cut services, lay off staff, or pass the costs onto already stretched local budgets. The proposed $880 billion in cuts to Medicaid are so deep that it would hurt state finances and jeopardize a major source of school revenues. And local school districts are limited by the Act 1 index. This means that they cannot raise taxes to the level required to make up for the difference for the proposed cuts to Medicaid and education. In Lancaster County, the percentage of children covered by Medicaid ranges from 14% in some districts to 51% in others, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. So who would suffer the most from this? Students with disabilities, students dealing with trauma, students in poverty, students who already face the steepest climb just to make it through the day. And all of this is to fund a tax cut to the richest Americans. So let me be clear, this is an equity issue. When we strip away Medicaid support, we are not just hurting our most vulnerable students. We're making it harder for every student to learn. Teachers can't teach when their classrooms are crisis centers. Nurses can't treat when they're responsible for hundreds of kids alone. Cuts to Medicaid are cuts to public education, period. And if we care about our kids, if we care about their futures, we can't let it happen. So we stand here today not just as advocates, but as protectors of a promise. The promise at the heart of the American dream, that no matter where you're born or what challenges you face, every child deserves the chance to learn, grow, and thrive. That in a civil society, we agree on at least this: educating our kids and giving them a real shot at success is a shared value. It's not partisan. It's not optional. It's a foundational responsibility. When we fail to meet that responsibility, we don't just shortchange our kids. We betray the promise of our democracy, a promise that starts by educating every child, not just the privileged few. Let's raise our voices for our kids, for our schools, and for the future we all deserve.